This is all the drama that happened in the NBA this week. This week was a crazy one, and it was defined by the fights that happened. There were two main fights, and the first one was KD versus the Miami Heat. I'm not gonna lie, KD came out with a dub, and he was cooking. I'm pretty sure he dropped 32 points, and he just cooked Tyler Hero. The second one was one that we're gonna get to later, but this one was insane. And this week was bad for Aiden. He was getting clowned by everyone. Clint was talking smack over Instagram, and even Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal were talking bad about him on TV. But it wasn't just those three guys. His own teammates, including Jackson Hayes, were talking bad about him as well. Chris Finch and Anthony Edwards also got into it this week with Chris Finch telling Anthony Edwards to pass the ball, but Ant, he doesn't do that. He's taking the shot, and that's what he did, and he knocked them all down, and he got the win for the Wolves over the Clippers, and he was bragging about it. He was telling Chris Finch that he's him. This week, Russ was in his smack talking bag as well. He was talking smack to Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers, but he was also doing it to reporters, and he went in. But let's be honest, I don't really think Luka cared. I think Luka's above that kind of stuff. Dejounte Murray also made his return this week, and in his second game, he had one of the nastiest fours I have ever seen. Trae Young got ejected before his first game for the Washington Wizards, essentially meaning he had more ejections than minutes played for the Wizards. But Trae Young did come out and have his debut for the Wizards. They did lose, but he did drop 12 points in 19 games. And I personally think it was actually a really good debut. He looked really good. Steve Nash was also caught busting down some dance moves on this random podcast. And I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of smooth with it. Chet Holmgren bought the whole OKC team custom Go-Yard duffel bags. I'm a Nuggets fan. I don't like OKC, but these bags, they're fire. They're fire. JJ Redick and Luka Doncic were going at it this week as well. Just like Ant and Chris Finch, but these guys, it's on a whole nother level. But I do think JJ Redick saw the drama of this online, so he came out and said that this is normal and it happens regularly, which it probably does, but I'm not gonna lie, it looked pretty bad. The Spurs coach got awarded the Coach of the Month this month, and he deserves it because the Spurs are cooking. They went 11-0 in Feb, and I'm not gonna lie, as a Nuggets fan, I'm low-key scared. The Spurs, they're looking good. SJ rocked up to his press conference in the craziest outfit I've ever seen. I reckon I could pull this off. What do you guys think? You reckon I could pull this off? I reckon I'd look fire. But I'm not gonna lie, it kind of went hard. I kind of rate it. The whole situation with Chancey Billups and the betting poker scandal has also reached a trial date, which is set for November. Mike Brown came out after the OKC versus Knicks game, saying that SGA is the best foul baiter he's ever seen, or that he's like an amazing foul baiter, which, let's be honest, he's not wrong. But Mike Brown was in the news a lot this week because he went absolutely crazy at the referees in this OKC versus Knicks game as SGA fouled one of the Knicks players and it didn't get called. So what did Mike Brown do? He went crazy. He went at those refs, which personally I like. I think coaches need to be sticking up for their players. And if I'm a player and I see my coach doing this, I'm happy. I'm proud. The Pelicans versus Stephen A. Smith war has kicked back up again as the Pelicans reposted a post of Stephen A. Smith essentially being just horrible at basketball. And Stephen A. Smith, he wasn't having it. He came in and said that his whole career is like better than the whole Pelicans franchise, which I'm not gonna lie, the Pelicans, y'all haven't really done anything. Cooper Flagg also made his return to basketball, and in that game, he became the second fastest player to ever reach 1,000 points. Before the Lakers versus Nuggets game, LeBron came out and said that Jokić is one of the best players of all time. And in that same game, LeBron also broke the record for most field goals ever in the NBA, which is a huge achievement if you think about it. He beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I believe he's got over like 30,000 field goals now, which is that's just insane, man. This guy's the GOAT. Once again, Draymond is back in the news, and guess what it was for? It wasn't for getting like 50 points. It was for getting a tech. Once again, Draymond picked up another tech as he was seen tripping Jabari Smith Jr. And this is the most obvious tech I have ever seen in my life. And Giannis, in his return, also got a tech as he was seen frustratedly throwing the ball to the ground as the Bucks picked up yet another loss. There are also a number of injuries that happened this week, including for Joel Embiid, who's going to be out for 3 games with an oblique injury as he was seen getting hurt celebrating a 3. Curry was also announced to be missing 5 games with a knee injury. Zach Edey is going to be out for the season as he's going to get ankle surgery. Porzingis is still out for the Warriors with what Steve Kerr is saying is just a weird illness. Caruso and Hardenstein both got injured against Denver, so they're both out for OKC. However, for OKC, I don't really think it matters. This team is so incredibly deep and so incredibly good they probably don't even need those guys. And it was also announced that Ja Morant is going to be out for 2 more weeks for the Memphis Grizzlies. Despite other injuries, there were also multiple returns for players in the NBA this week, including James Harden, who made his return from a thumb injury to get a win for the Cavs. Giannis returned for the Bucks as well, dropping 19 points, but they lost, so yeah. But the biggest return not only of this week, but probably of this year, is the fact that Jason Tatum is making his return today. Probably was yesterday for you guys. But he's making his return for the Celtics, coming back from an ACL injury, and he's going to be facing up against the Dallas Mavericks and Cooper Flag. There were also a couple little signings that happened this week for multiple NBA teams. However, the one I'm going to point out to you guys is probably the biggest one, which isn't really that big, but the Denver Nuggets signed David Roddy to a 2-way contract, and also Tyus Jones to a full-time contract, despite the fact that the Nuggets do have Jalen Pickett, who I think is decent, but Tyus Jones is actually kind of a decent signing for the Nuggets. Moving on to some of the best plays this week, and this week was filled with highlights. And I'm not gonna lie, they're all by 2 guys, Wemby and Anthony Edwards. Wemby put an insane poster on OG and Anunoby. However, Anthony Edwards came out against the Raptors and probably had the poster of the year, as he just dunked all over RJ Barrett. And you could tell that RJ Barrett just wanted to move on from this one. Wemby also had an amazing sequence against the Pistons, the 1 seed out east, as he blocked Cade Cunningham, and then in the very next play caught a lob and just dunked that, man. This was an insane play, and Wemby, he's just a highlight reel. Jonathan Kuminga has also had an amazing start for the Atlanta Hawks, and he has been having fun. You can tell he's having fun with his basketball, and he has just been dunking it left, right, and center. And also Wendell Carter Jr. hit a nice game winner for the Orlando Magic as they got the win over the Dallas Mavericks. Now to the final piece of news that really encapsulated this week that I totally didn't forget to talk about. But that was the fight between Nikola Jokić and the whole state of Oklahoma. It all started when Lou Dort hip dropped Nikola Jokić, which let's be honest, it was a dirty play. Lou Dort is known for this, done to Wemby, he's done to Steph, he's done it to a lot of big name players, and it was a dirty play. And what did Jokić do? He reacted. I'm not gonna lie, they don't call him the Joker for nothing. And it resulted in a big fight between Jalen Williams and Nikola Jokić, and let's be honest, Jalen Williams, you ain't doing anything, man, especially when Jokić got this guy as a brother. But it was nice to kind of see both Jokić and Lou Dort come out after the fact and kind of admit that both Jokic's reaction and also the play by Lou Dort were both just unnecessary. However, these 2 guys are going up against it tomorrow on the 9th of March. It's going to be a good game. I'm keen to see who's going to win. That is all the drama that happened this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your favorite piece of NBA news or drama was this week. Go comment that right now. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.